There is little to no doubt that the Cedo Prime is a fantastic weapon, and while some might still prefer Incarnate this and Incarnate that, there's still a lot to be said for weapons such as this one. As per usual, I'll have a couple of builds for you and game variations on them depending on the circumstance. Buckle up, it's gonna be a doozy. We're gonna be spawning in a bunch of Scaldra, as in the actual battle group. Keep an eye on the Dedicant because this is the bad guy, the big bad guy that is actually tanky among this group. Now, you can let your little Sentinel prime your targets, but at the end of the day, this is a Cedo, right? Which means that we can blow up everything really easily, and we can also prime our targets simply using right click. Now when you see this Scaldra area of effect, it means they are healing when they're staying in that gas cloud. Not that it matters, since you can see basically on most units it will be a nice and easy one shot like so. The weapon is very powerful. Now it's not exactly Incarnate level of performance, and you can see that in the higher levels rather, at a base 205 steel pack. Now I left this guy for last just so you can see exactly what happens when we shoot this one. Shoot him in the gut and then shoot him in the back. When you shoot him in the gut and break his thing, you remove all overguard, and by shooting him in the back right after you break the little backpack thing, which does not have a visual representation, you get increased damage. And that's pretty much it when it comes to performance when dealing with the Scaldra. This is one of the new factions that most people do fight against nowadays. As for the build itself, it's pretty self-explained for the most part, but let's take a quick gander. Critical chance, critical damage, flat damage, we're not gonna go that route. This way, what's simply gonna be going with Galvanized Savvy. Now, Galvanized Savvy will be offering you tons of flat damage. Keep in mind that the effect is multiplicative, but only for the old fire, as in for the glaive just bouncing around targets. Charge Shell is gonna be making a bit of corrosive, a toxic barrage on this one, and the reason why we modded corrosive on is not because we want to fully remove the armor necessarily, or that we need it. It's simply because the Scaldra are weak to contact corrosive damage. It's essentially the same reason why you would mod Viral versus the Orokin, and that's mostly it. Hunter Munitions, I know you hate it, but with Shotgun Elementalist on this one, basically Shotgun Elementalist takes the place of your faction modifier. Since you do hate faction modifiers, or maybe is that just me? Essentially, the multiplier on this one works similarly to this one, but just to status damage. Primary Frostbite on this one, you're gonna say, hey, hold on, how did you proc your Primary Frostbite? And that one should be pretty self-explained for any veteran at this point. Make sure that on your little Sentinel's weapon, you do have a means to proc it. Now, this is the Tacticore. Up until this point, we have been using the Hellstrom as a primer, if you will, or as a procer. In this case, we're going to be using the new thing just so you guys can see the new thing. And as you can see, this is a simple cold and radiation build for the Tacticore. Now you can swap this one out rather easily and make cold and corrosive, but obviously we don't need it in this case. Shivering Contagion is absolutely beautiful, fantastic, one of the newer mods. Make sure you use this one. Here's a more general build for the Tacticore when it comes to priming targets. This one has Viral Rad Mag and Electric. Keep in mind that both will be applying hella crowd control to your targets. This one with cold and this one with electricity. Check out the Tacticore. You do need to be max rank with the guys over on Fortune. I think it's called Old Mate to get this one. If not, if you don't want to go for the Tacticore because you know it's new, the truth is you don't really need to. You can stick to your old Hellstrom if you have this one by now, and you can go for something like standard priming or frost priming. Again, having that Sentinel with you helping you out is absolutely amazing. Now, what you saw earlier wasn't exactly the full strength of the build. I didn't really showcase anything with Viral at this point. I don't know if anybody noticed, but you can get Viral for Grendel's thing, for example, and the increased fire rate that you did see on the Cedo, we're just gonna repeat that this really quickly one more time, did came from Arcane Tempo. Arcane Tempo is a Warframe arcane, in case you're unfamiliar with that one. You can get Viral like so, and you know, it deals even more damage than before. Basically, this build uses everything to push the weapon damage further, because I do want these weapons to at least be in striking distance of Incarnate weapons. Now, the reason I do this simply because, again, I do love these weapons, and slowly and surely I'm kind of annoyed that nothing can really compete with Incarnate weapons. Hopefully the brand new weapons that will be released with the infested liches. And again, with this guy, make sure you shoot him in the back. When it gets low enough, I would just execute them like so, just to stop dealing with them. And that's pretty much it. If you want to switch to techrod, normally techrod is not really a concern, and I'll tell you why not. Their units are simply not all that tough. Against these guys, you want to build magnetic and cold. Let me show you a quick example of fighting them. These are the techrod, and as you can see, they just vanish. I mean, basically the techrod are the corpus, and as you know, well, kind of like ancient or early corpus, only infested and weird, so you don't really need to worry about them in terms of survivability. Just make sure that their abilities don't get in the way. And as you can see, that tactical really working miracles. I do love this one. You gotta check it out. Now, if I was, let's say, to make a build more cater to the techrod, nothing simpler. Make sure you use the brand new mod that gets you magnetic damage along with magnetic. What was it? Magnetic strafe. On this one, you get yourself 60% magnetic and 40% fire rate. It's an absolutely amazing mod. So let's say you want to go with this one a bit more modern. Let's say you had your fill of hunter munitions, nothing simpler. We're going to change a couple of things around. We're just going to be going for magnetic strafe. Prime chilling grass, beautiful. And you know what's also good? A little bit of rad on this one. Atomic Fallout, fantastic mod. 60% radiation with that 40% magazine capacity. Recently, I'm in love with this mod. It is true. Shivering Contagion. Now, it's also true you have it on the Sentinel as well, but again, you are dealing with the techrod, which are not really all that powerful, so why not try it with this one? Again, give it a spin. It's a fantastic mod, and one of my objectives is to kind of like bring you up to speed with new stuff, not just the old stuff. And as you can see, is it not beautiful? Didn't even activate Vital there because I don't really need to. I don't want you guys to think that you're conditioned on using Grendel's ability from the helmet. And lastly, how about that Murmur battle group? Now, as you know, the Murmur are vulnerable to electricity and radiation. We already have it on the weapon, so we're not going to be worrying about the contact damage all that much. Activate a little bit of Vital if you want to. You don't necessarily need to. And as you can see, the weapon will absolutely like wreck house. There's really nothing that this weapon can absolutely chew through. At a level of 200-ish, 300-ish, steel path. Past that point, I would still go, well, past level 800-ish. If I know I'm gonna be reaching that, I would still stick to my incarnate weapons, but you know what? They got boring after a while, so why not use something so amazing?
Bucko. If the buildup gets any worse, it's gonna start making decisions.
The Cedo Prime is without a doubt a hard-hitting, fantastic weapon, one that can carry you through the 99.5% of content that Warframe has to offer. Now, it's true, there are a lot of other weapons that can basically boast the exact same thing, and it may not be incarnate level of performance, but as you can see, do you actually need more than that? It comes down to you if this is the kind of flavor you want to go for. For my 2 cents, oh yeah, definitely go for the Cedo Prime. As always, my name has been Lazer. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. You can also catch me over on Twitch if you got any questions. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ciao.